I get people all the time come up to me, ask me for these extravagant designs. I give them a price, and they ask me for discounts.
Quote unquote white business. Do you ask questions when you see Gucci and Gucci says $1,000? Do you ask questions?
No.
But when you go, hold on. I have to get the whole point out.
All right.
Let's walk cleverly on the beat.
Welcome to African Millennials Season 3. I'm Shabazz, and everyone's going to get a chance to introduce themselves, both old and new.
Right, so my name is Umazi, and I'm here representing the 254 Kenya, serving you that East African sauce. So,
Let's find out.
I'm Sanami from Benin. You already know. I don't know. I've been here since season 1.
Oh.
It's been a pleasure. You know, OG.
Hey guys, I'm Zenobia representing Ghana, where the best jollof is made. Best jollof. You may remember me from season 2. I'm happy to be doing season 3.
Hey guys, my name is Melissa, and I'm repping Jamaica. I'm ready to get in it. So.
What's going on, y'all? I go by the name of Young Prince. You feel me? Smooth guy. Gotta be smooth, always smooth, representing Nigeria, the land of the flyest, land of the smoothest. So, you know, don't hate. We here.
We here, yeah. I am Jonathan Elias. I am representing Nigeria, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. You know, I got my mom on the east side, my dad on the west. Brought it together, got it, you know what I mean? You fresh with it.
I love it.
All right, this is your favorite boy, Milan from Ghana. Yeah. favorite, my time.
Favorite.
And I'm Shabazz, and I'm back from season 2. You know, the LIB God himself.
There you go.
So we're gonna have a chance for Jonathan to open it up and read the question.
My pleasure.
Showtime.
All right. Dear African Millennials, let's talk about Black economic awareness. Why do we glorify the LVs, the Guccis, the red bottoms, etc.? Should we boycott non-Black businesses and focus on building our own businesses, hence building Black wealth?
That's a good one.
That is a really good one.
That's a really good
It's a very intense and packed question.
I feel like so much emphasis is placed on, you know, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, you should rather do this. I feel like if you can afford it and you have your priorities together, by all means, buy. If the company, you know, isn't a racist company, obviously, you know, I don't think that we should boycott them, but we should also, you know, have in mind that, you know, Black business is good business as well. So
Yeah,
I think
we need to create more Black wealthy brands because there's not a lot of options. What is there, like only like Yeezy out right now that's hot? That's Black.
I don't agree with that because you make things hot. Look at Fashion Nova. That ain't nothing but some thread and needle put together. It'll fall apart. But listen, in 2018, that was the most Googled brand. And you know why? It's because of us.
Made it hot.
You're paying all these young Black models, Instagram models, all these. Listen, and it's not. And this is the problem.
But that's
we're
not
not putting that same energy into Black businesses. He is not a Black man who. It's a man, first of all, that created Fashion Nova, but he is not a Black man. That's where our problem is. We make the brand. Right. It's not the Black people.
But I think that we are at least starting though, because look at Virgil Abloh. Like he's had amazing accomplishments
But
with
he's not really
Off-White this
Black.
year.
That's
He's
not
got
really a
in.
Black business. No, I'm not saying Virgil's not Black. I'm saying his contributions, it's not like a solely owned like
He
black
has his
business.
own. Virgil Abloh has a brand.
Yeah, Off-White, but Off-White, I wouldn't do people consider Off-White a completely
Like all black.
business? I don't really
Yes.
think. I don't think it's
His,
really
he
considered.
has, he's Virgil. He has collaborations, but he's
I feel
still
like his whole-
Virgil.
So when people say like, for most part, like building up black businesses, like I don't know if you guys watch Killer Mike. Killer Mike has-
I watched that.
He
Yeah.
has a new show on Netflix, and he spoke about it on Breakfast Club. Like he tried to go 3 days by only supporting black businesses, and he was talking about how he struggled.
It's hard.
And he was in the Southeast where a lot of things are black owned. It's because a lot of things kind of dispersed, and black people, as we go through the generations, once we kind of make it, we let the stuff go, and then trying to buy it back, it takes a little bit longer of a process. So when you talk about black owned businesses, I think about like, from the root of what he was talking about is like, okay, he went to a black-owned grocery store, but he couldn't finish eating there because they didn't get their stuff from a black-owned farm. So he was trying to really navigate it. So when I think about Virgil, like just to make it full circle, his whole thing, it's like he's a black person excelling in fashion, but I wouldn't consider Off-White a black-owned business. I wasn't trying to say so much that it wasn't a black brand. I was trying to give shed more light to brands that didn't have that initial push. So Virgil, as most people know, was very well associated with being a designer with Kanye West, as opposed to, I think, the usual black-owned businesses I'm talking about are those that are at the root and have to get it out the mud, as opposed to getting that automatic sign-off, which is imperative now to like every business because of online presence. Milano DeRoot, y'all know about Milano?
Yeah, Milano.
So Meek kind of pushes Milano's brand. She's a black-owned business out of Philly. And now her stuff is pretty big. You see a lot of superstars wearing Milano. I consider that like a black-owned business. Zenobia has her own clothing line. Like I know that they're doing stuff from the material to I would consider that a black-owned business. Virgil's stuff is kind of like,
Mainstream.
But the problem,
Yeah.
the problem is us, the black people. We don't really support black businesses.
There's
Example,
not
like the
enough-
Off-White.
not
No, there's
enough
not.
supporting.
Example.
So
Example.
now-
Let me give you an example. Like the Off-White guy. I actually was like, okay. I'm an example. I'm giving myself an example. So with the Off-White guy, I was like, okay. I didn't really start supporting him until he made a partnership with Louis Vuitton. That's when I started taking him serious.
But it's not even about just supporting the black business. I know when Terrence Stewart died, I moved all my money from like a non-black bank to a black bank. But what's the quality of the service? It's not just about the brands. It's what's the quality of the service. I am the person who I'm championing for black-owned brands. But when it comes to the convenience of using your product versus the convenience of using, so why are we just putting the burden on the consumer and not in asking that the quality of product also that you as a supplier you match the quality, because the burden is too much on the consumer.
Black people do not support each other at all. It's not the first, it's not the second. I don't think it will be the last. Normally, we just like to praise other products, other brands, because then we value other brands. Like example, the Off-White. Nobody really was into Off-White until he started collaborating with Louis Vuitton and other brands. I was also part of them, so I just feel like it's a black thing.
Why do we put so much burden on the consumer and not expect that the supplier meets the demand at the level and quality that they should? Because we're out here sacrificing.
Right, though, it takes money to do that, right? And it's not set up for us. Like, they will give us a car loan, a student loan, but when it comes to black people trying to get business loans, it's so hard to get a business loan. It's so hard to get accepted to even want to give that service.
Yes.
Because even for me and my own brand, I would love to do a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I want to do, maybe a little bit more quality, but I don't have the money for it right now this second. I'm building up towards it. But I'm pretty sure if I was sitting next to someone who may be non-black, and she apply and I apply for a business loan, I feel as though that other non-black race would get that business loan over me. That's how I feel.
Even investors.
I agree with that. The thing is, we don't have the money, like you said. We don't have the means for these businesses. So what we need to do as black business owners is we need to think outside of the box. Bring these customers in.
What makes you think that non-blacks don't have the money? They don't
Just
know.
like
We
we
just
saying,
don't.
like,
They
getting
get.
them-
They
getting
just
loans
get
and-
this. No, they just support. Their people
get
support them.
investors,
We
they
just
get-
don't
I'm saying
support
to
each
start,
other.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I'm saying
example.
starting the
No,
business.
no, let him-
starting the
if it's-
business.
we're
Because
talking
you got
about-
people like Trump who's born into a billionaire family.
You have to get
But
to.
that's one
We're
person's
trying to
goal.
get.
I
I'm trying to
have a
get to her
yeah.
point. So the reason why I'm saying, I go back to what Killer Mike was talking about. He said when you're looking at a brand that's up and coming, right? You can't automatically. You have to gloss over some of the beginning mistakes that are going to happen.
Right.
So it's like, okay, if I go, he was like, okay, I went to a black-owned restaurant. Now this waitress, she had a certain attitude that maybe I didn't get at Del Fresco's, or I don't know what her day was like. So he was like, am I gonna give her a pass? Yes, I'm gonna give her a pass today. Or if I got this item and it wasn't matched up, I have to realize that in supporting it, you have to support it from the ground up.
think
I
also-
completely agree
Let
with
me-
you. However, we have to demand more.
You have to demand more, but you have to
But
understand-
everybody, no, it's not just about understanding. Everybody is, support black, support, and I'm for it. But can I demand that you meet me halfway? Because
So what does meeting you halfway consist of?
I think meeting me halfway, when I give you feedback about your product or something, don't take it as if I'm coming for you, I'm critiquing you. I'm here, I want to be a client. I want to be a loyal client. But when I tell you, hey, you told me you're gonna deliver these hats 2 weeks ago, it's a whole year.
Are you saying this based on experience? 'Cause
Yes, I am saying on experience. In my experience, black businesses don't deliver most. Let me rephrase that. In my experience, most black businesses that I have interacted with do not deliver at the same quality, convenience, and rate as other non-black owned business. And I can give you an example. It's a lot of Instagram designers that I've reached out to that, would just assume that I don't have the money to pay for their service. And when I do eventually pay the deposit and everything, the turnover rate has, when they said it would be 2 weeks, it ended up being 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. But then when I would refer my other white friends to them, or most of these designers I would be referred to by my other white friends or other friends from other different races, and they'll be like, oh yeah, they got you, 2 weeks, it was so great. But then when it comes to me, it's different. I gave another example that I was trying to do business with a Kenyan fashion house, and the transaction was hats. Right? They had these really cool beaded hats that I was like, you know what? There's a market for them on this side. It took a whole year for me to get a sample of 5 hats.
When it comes to a lot of business now, it's word of mouth. There's so much more power in the customer now because of the internet. Everyone has access within their fingertips as soon as they receive a product. So like I said, when you go to a Macy's or you go to one of these nationally recognized brands or world recognized brands, if something were to go wrong, you quietly fill out your nice little customer service, you get your credits, and you keep it pushing. But when your friend, you found out that they used a Hanes t-shirt or whatever it was to, or it ripped or something like that, you have to tell everybody, oh, don't mess with this person. Like, this person is trash. Like, why do you have to go about that? Because you don't know what that person was going through. Maybe they're on the way to the come up. Maybe they have to use these profits to better, or maybe you could pull them to the side or just talk to them directly, especially if you know them. And I think that goes a long way about respecting the come up.
I feel like what Umazi is saying is like, listen, your business, your black-owned business, cool, but you have to conduct yourself as such. Yes. Don't have professionalism is key, especially when doing business. You have to make sure that as a business owner, you conduct yourself a certain way. If I'm emailing you, let the email be professional.
And I think that's the reason why a lot of black business, there are not a lot of successful black-owned businesses right now in the fashion industry, because the importance, like the marketing and all of that, and getting the business loan. Some people don't even know how to go about marketing and get their package together to get the loan. I'm not gonna put that on the banks, and these people are saying that they're not gonna give it to us, because if your package is together and you have it on point, they're gonna give you the money if you can express how to make their money.
Being inside of a bank, I definitely have to disagree with that, because the reason why they give out student loans is wrapped in a whole different type of era. Because if you think about it, I understand that obviously college can be a necessity to a degree, not really, because a lot of these degrees don't matter. But you're basically telling somebody that I'll allow you to put yourself into 6-figure debt on money that you're not guaranteed to pay back. Because most people that go to certain universities in this country, most people aren't getting athletic or academic scholarships. You're guaranteeing that this person's gonna have $100,000 debt. All these programs allow you to defer. So now you're telling me, now let's think about this from a business model. I'm going in for a loan, right? I wanna borrow $140,000. I'm not gonna pay you for the next 4 to 6 years, and I'm gonna be able to, and I want a deferred option to defer it another 4 after. I didn't label the loan. You as a business person, would you give me $140,000?
People do it all the time. They give out big money all the time.
Now what I just said, I didn't say it was a business loan or nothing. I just told you, let me borrow $140,000 from you. I'm not gonna pay a dime for 4 to 6 years, and then I'm gonna ask you for a deferred rate for 4 years after. I didn't say what it was for. I didn't say it was business. Would you loan me $140,000? No.
If you just put it like that, no.
That's what a
you
student
ain't getting
loan
no
is. So
money.
you allow somebody to put themselves head over heels into something that they're probably not going to get themselves out of. Now, to combat with black-owned banks, what Killer Mike was talking about when he was researching, a lot of other races have actually taken advantage of the loans from black-owned banks. Because we think that we're not going to support black-owned banks, how do you think they stay open? Black-owned banks, all banks stay open by loans, by interest rates, different things like that. So some of the most popular, ethnic groups that use it are like some of the Indian families that have like the gas stations and different like that.
They're going after these loans and they're
but
getting
it's rare that a lot of black people go to those black banks.
So that's what we got, the knowledge that this is available. If you go about it this way, you're going to get that money to start this business. If you have a marketing team, if you have the package together, go after it.
That's the problem. I feel like the problem.
She's being more optimistic.
Right.
About
As a black business owner, like it's hard. You feel me? Like at the end of the day, like you have these dreams, you have these goals, but then when it comes to executing it, you might not have the capacity to execute it the way you want to. Like you can try, but for example, like if I'm Virgil, and I still disagree that Virgil is not a black-owned company because it is. If he's a black-owned brand and Zenobia is a black-owned brand, I don't see where the difference is.
When I say Virgil, I'm not saying. I look at it like this. Virgil was in a state where Off-White was giving a leap forward pass because people don't know Virgil sat back behind Kanye for years. So he was given the money to push the even with Yeezy, like when we talk about black, I don't even consider Yeezy a black-owned business.
They're under Adidas.
Because it's under Adidas, which is
right. But Virgil is Virgil Abloh. Like he's Virgil. Just because he has collaborations with Louis Vuitton or with Nike, that doesn't take away from his business
now,
is
what I'm saying is, I'm not saying I don't support I look at it as supporting Virgil as an individual. I do not consider
the Off-White
brand
because it's not a black-owned business from top to bottom.
It is. If Zenobia owns For the Culture and she's Ghanaian, that's her brand. If Virgil owns Off-White, that's his brand.
That's the thing.
Off-White is a black-owned brand because it was founded by Virgil Abloh. Like, it's his company. Yes, he does collaborations. He's done collaborations with Louis Vuitton. Yes, he's done collaborations with Nike, but the Off-White brand is owned by Virgil. It's founded by Virgil. And I think any brand that is founded and created by a black person or someone of color, yes, sometimes you're gonna need to collaborate with different brands to get yourself out there. But if fundamentally the brand is owned by a black person, it's black owned.
I'm gonna educate myself.
That's his brand.
With the whole what he's trying to say, right? Let's say you, right? You have Je Suis.
Right.
Je Suis is not managed or run by anybody else but you. Off-White. Yes, Virgil created it. Yes, he's the founder. Yes, he's the face behind it. But there are other people that have their hands in it.
So those aren't his employees?
So is Tidal, so would you say Tidal is a black-owned business?
Because
if we want to break it down like that, because whoever is running Tidal...
Jay-Z started Tidal. Virgil, in his quest of when he was a designer for Kanye, he was given Off-White as another chapter. It was like a design that kind of blew up. Off-White wasn't really, it still isn't really like I mean, I don't want to call like a business. It's like his designs are off-white. Like he designed a couple bags or he designed a couple sneakers that were off-white, and that was like his trademark. It became more of a business when it got popular. And the reason why I only try to decipher from regular black-owned business is because it was given an accelerated head start.
But that was his big break. It doesn't matter where your big break comes from.
That's what I was trying
and
to
the
say.
thing,
People started supporting him
right
after he started working.
Right, but that's
that brands
and
like
then
Louis
that's our
Vuitton
that's
and
our
support.
issue. That's our issue,
Right.
and that's
That's
one thing
important.
that I want to touch upon. Like for example, like I completely understand where you're coming from. Like I'm a small business too.
Right.
At the end of the day, I could get 100 emails. Am I gonna get to all those 100 emails? I cannot.
You're working by yourself.
I will have somebody else. Like I have a friend that's like my assistant. She goes and answers my emails. Our tones are completely different.
Right.
So whatever she does reflects me. If she has a little bit of attitude in her email, that's my attitude.
Right.
You understand what
Look
I'm
at
saying?
Cardi-
If I
and that's what I'm saying.
had the money to pay somebody a salary and this is their job, that's a whole other
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
I only look
and
at
then-
it because, not to cut you off, only reason why, like I said, I look at it as a difference is because when we go back to the Fashion Nova thing, right? A lot of times, black people don't realize like we're not the only consumers or we're not the only promoters, but our sign off, our sign off for the culture.
We are
Yes.
the
It's the
Exactly.
tick. It's the
Literally.
tick.
I'm gonna tell,
Yeah,
I
we're the
believe
mainstream.
that once like a black artist, rapper, somebody mentions your name or wears your outfit, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Yep.
Look at Cardi B. Cardi B is the perfect example.
Exactly.
of a fashion
But
movement.
that's what I'm trying to say. It's
gotta be
like,
black?
what about the people that aren't, that don't have the I'm not like, I don't want to never
Mm-hmm.
I'm not discrediting Virgil at all because I'm proud that a black person can break down those doors for Louis V. That's why Rihanna's getting something with Louis Vuitton coming up with her new stuff because people open those doors. But I'm saying, if you give the same type of energy, let's take Virgil's example. Off-White is dope, but if he didn't have that sign off, would we be quick to rise?
But exactly, we need that. Unfortunately, we need that in order for
Fashion
people to
Nova-
respect us as brands.
Because he gets that sign off, it allows him to raise his price. So I'll bring it back to Milano. I remember Milano's from Philly, right? Milano, a lot of people, they make jokes on Twitter like, oh, I'm a designer because they cut the Hanes tag out and they slap they logo on a t-shirt, right?
Yeah.
So now that same $5 t-shirt, now I'm selling it for 50. Everybody say, oh my God, your price. That goes back to how we address cultures across the thing. When you go into a national corporation or quote unquote white business, do you ask questions when you see Gucci and Gucci says $1,000? Do you ask questions?
No.
But when you go, hold on, I have to get the whole point out.
All right.
When you go, when some people might go to Zenobia and they see her hoodie's though, oh, how much is this? Oh, my hoodie's $65. $65. They looking at
And I get that.
And we all
right.
do that.
They looking
We
at
all-
you, but
we
it's
all
like,
do
hold
that.
up.
Me,
They-
I've
it's-
lived this
I know,
life.
I know. I'm like this. I'm like, hold up. But my price is my price. You don't go into there and direct it. Now I'm saying the reason why I bring this up, his connections, people don't know Virgil was way before he was even recognized. He was behind the scenes designing for Kanye. That push, that Yeezy and all that, even Yeezys, the holes in the clothes when Soulja Boy's making those jokes about it, that allowed the price jump and allowed that there was a mutual understanding across the board. That's the real issue. It comes down to we don't value other black businesses and give them unquestioned promotion, unquestioned loyalty. It's not so much the quality of the product, but it's the quality of our mindset. When you walk into a Bergdorf Goodman or you walk into Barney's and your mindset is to get the Gucci, get those brands, you have an expectation, but there's a few things that you're never gonna do. You're never gonna ask for a discount. You're never gonna question or you're never gonna bring some type of reference to why you should get this for lower, or you're never gonna question the brand in general. If something were to go wrong, you might make a customer complaint very quietly, you might email, you might do what you have to do, but you're not gonna go over the top. When it comes to black-owned businesses or businesses owned by people people want to throw in, that's my homie, I know them from, such and such place, so I deserve a discount. And when something is wrong, we scream to the top of our lungs the negative aspects about that business, which a detractor from a business is way more valuable than a promoter, because when people are happy, like those customer surveys, when you're really happy about how you felt about in the store, or you're okay with the service, do you ever go home and fill out the survey? But as soon as you're mad and you're angry, you have to tell the whole world, oh, don't ever go to this place, or I hate this waitress, or I hate this place, I hate this piece of clothing. People will rush to the internet or rush to surveys to, you know, and rush to the world to complain, but to congratulate, people like to whisper those.
Let me explain to you why that is, right? The era that we live in is an era full of fast fashion, cheap clothes. People nowadays only wear clothes one time. Once you post it on Instagram, you can't wear it again.
But what does that have to do with?
That has to do with it because you like, if you want to invest in all black businesses, you have to spend money.
In terms of support, right? I feel like people be like, when you come up with somebody, let's say you went to the same school with them, you doing one thing, they do another thing, but that person gets to a certain level, it's like, who this, and this is the mindset that people have. It's just like, oh, well, this person thinks they're doing big things. They think they're better than me, so I'm not gonna support them.
That's why strangers. That's
the problem. And I was just about to get to that.
Right.
People that don't know you will support you
more.
faster than people that actually know you, that have known you, because it's just like, yo, your stuff is legit
discourages
dope.
people about when people are starting businesses.
That's this
Right.
era though. That's this era. There's so much jealousy and there's so much envy, and that's why the support isn't there. And we always say, oh, black love this and black this, black, but we don't. A lot of times we don't support each
But
other.
where does it come from, though?
Where
Where does it come from?
When I started,
But where does it come from? It comes from like the divide and conquer mindset that has been drilled in us for years. And we as black people have to be conscious that it exists and start working on it. That's our problem. We just talk. Yeah, black love, support. But how do we act on it? Are we ready? Like and we know this. We talk about it all the time, but what actions do we put behind? I'm gonna challenge myself. I just recently dropped Spotify so that I can pick up Tidal. Why? Because I gotta be about it, right? If Jay-Z, if just because Tidal is $13 and Spotify is $9.99, well, I gotta be about it. Yeah.
Let me add something
hold
to
up, this point.
I also feel like we shouldn't focus on, let's support black businesses or let's support non-black business. I feel like if we all think like one people and feel like, okay, both a non-white business is my business and a black business is my business, I think it will all be great. Because when you go to a non, let me tell you why. When you go to a non-black business company, who do you see? Majority of the people you see are black people. They're hiring black people. I don't think they think that way. I don't think
they're only hiring black people so you can feel like you're.
Let me finish. It's the way we think. Because if a non-black person is setting up a business, he's not selfish. He doesn't think the way we think. Because we're sitting over here being selfish, thinking about ourselves, and we don't even support ourselves.
I don't agree.
So this is the thing. Our problem is we wait for racial injustice or any issue like that to come together. Yes. That's our problem. We wait for someone like T.I. to say, boycott Starbucks, and then they close thousands of Starbucks for a racial training. That's our problem. I think that us as a culture, a black culture, we put our energy in the wrong place always. Whenever some racial injustice comes out, you have a top celebrity like T.I. when he spoke against Starbucks for arresting the 2 young black men for no reason. You saw all the black people say, "Oh, we're going to boycott Starbucks." Yeah, that was great that, they closed down thousands of Starbucks just for racial training, but they're still open. We're still going to that. You're putting all that effort into one situation that happens, once a year, maybe once every 2 years, when if we in the forefront just had that same drive and that same want, we put effort in development, we put effort in black business owners, we put effort in entrepreneurs, then we wouldn't even have this issue in the first place. So if we come to the forefront, we already come with supporting these businesses, you don't have to boycott. You don't have to boycott. Support, just support. See, you're exactly. So, and this is the issue. So say like all these black-owned cafes that got all of these people now, all of a sudden, right? You got them for a good maybe month or two because you're going out your way. Now they're leaving. So these cafes, they're getting all these supplies and stuff, just like, oh, we got so many people. Now you left. You know what I mean? But if we had continued to do that, then we'll flourish.
It's just a consistency.
That's exactly what it is.
This is my experience. This is my experience with like working with being a black owned business. It's not like you said we should just think of all businesses as our businesses and everything, but that's not the same experience from the inside. Like I worked at a boutique. I managed a boutique. People would come in all the time. Oh, can I get a discount? Oh, can I do this? You would never go to Louis and be like, oh, can I get a discount?
I mean, if your friend at the cash register, you do.
I mean, yeah, that's different, but it's the mindset that people come into your business with.
It's all
People, it's different. They don't take you as serious.
It's also the way you manage your business. It's also the way you create your business.
No,
People will not listen. It's the way you brand it.
I get people all the time come up to me, ask me for these extravagant designs. I give them a price, and they ask me for discounts. If they were to go to a Louis store, or if they go to Kleinfeld's or something, they're not gonna ask for the same discount. I feel like they don't regard like our talents. They don't regard my talents the same way as they will regard a Louis Vuitton piece or something like that.
I would definitely ask for a discount. I would.
Listen, we have black
Wait,
owned
let me
businesses.
finish though.
They treat it like a swap meet.
So like,
They do.
when
they don't take into consideration the money that you have to spend.
the time,
You have to make your money back.
It's not about branding.
It's not about
Milan,
branding.
like
It's not about
you
branding.
cannot come to me after you went to Kleinfeld's and tried on thousands of dollars dresses and come to me and ask me to make you a cheap dress. Why? Because I'm not Kleinfeld.
And it
I
goes
have
back-
the same
it goes back
hands
to the
that the
mentality of
person
how
that
it
made
goes.
it. It's not.
We
But
don't
so
appreciate
how am I gonna get the money to compete with my branding on that level if you don't respect me now?
That's true.
How am I ever gonna get there? That's my point. It's a very frustrating thing because the cost that a Louis Vuitton, the amount of money that a Louis Vuitton piece costs as to what they're selling, the profit margin is huge. When I'm selling my thing or I'm making something for practically nothing, and you still want to undercut me for that, like, it makes no sense. People always want to shortchange you or ask for discounts or ask you to, like, at the end of the day, I'm putting in time, I'm putting in money for you to go home with it.
Right.
You get what I mean?
But
and my profit margin is nothing at the end of the day.
Established companies,
See,
but you are
hold on,
starting
hold on,
a
hold on.
company.
No,
But you don't know. It starts from somewhere. It starts
When I
from
started, the price that I'm charging for something is not the same as today. Why? Because when I started, I was doing it to get my name out there. I was paying my dues. My dues are paid. If you want to buy something from me, you pay. You pay for it.
Hold up. No, Milan, I'm cutting you off right now. Hold up, I'm cutting you off.
Exactly.
Because you're not hearing. All you keep doing the same brand. So this is what she's trying to get at. There is dues to be paid. These same companies and those same brands, they were sitting in those same thing. But on their way up, there is a such thing as paying your dues. But when you got it, when I feel like I got my stain and I'm on my own 2 feet, you're gonna respect my brand or you're gonna walk out. Then that's fine. When she puts in her time and money, you just said it. You said the branding, so you feel like because it's not in the store or it's not there, I could ask you for a discount. You just don't realize that you're literally contradicting yourself on how you just explained it. Because you believe that because it's coming from this person, because guarantee, listen, you take her clothes. Just hang it. Just go to Macy's and just hang it in there.
Milan is saying that the branding needs to be on point for us to buy from them. Listen, when you go to a black hair salon, you know you're going to get a great quality because black people, black salons, they do it up. They make it wonderful. They make it glamorous. So that's what we can expect. Now, if you want a black-owned fashion designer and you want that kind of respect, come from the gate like that. Like, I am of quality. What's lacking in some black-owned establishments, brands, is the fact that they're not putting in the same kind of quality, the same kind of effort and customer service in order to bring up their brand and for people to, want to spend the same kind of money they spending on Yeezys. Well, that's a black brand, but let's just say Adidas or Nike or Marc Jacobs. I know a lot of black establishments don't have that kind of money from the gate, but if you're not set your standards like this, how do you expect to gain that kind of money? Everybody's gonna shop there.
Let me rebuttal your point. Let me rebuttal your point.
Explain it. So this is why I want to, because I'm talking about the quality of your mind. Look at how you're saying it. You're going into it saying, if this person doesn't have an out, you know the reason why we don't question hair salons or haircuts? Because we know we unquestioning that's walking around. Oh, he got a nice haircut. He got nice hair. We know black people could do hair. When black people are trying to get out of things that people think that they can't do, people question it because you're trying to excel past what. Oh no, you can't do that. You know why? Because this person. Oh no, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. So when you go up to them, they can have the utmost design. They're carrying their clothes. You know their clothes are nice, but it's also a fact. One out of probably 3, 4, somebody's gonna come and dare ask, can I get a discount or can you do this? You know why? You know why? Because it's not. I'm gonna tie it back into what he said. Because they feel like they know you. They you know what? Like we grew up together. We came up together.
Stop
Like
trying to act
stop trying to act Hollywood. The first time that you start to separate yourself out of the lines of what people see you as, everyone doesn't matter. Everyone that you grow up with. For the most part, everyone that you grow up with, everyone sees themselves in a box. They all see what you can do, and everyone labels the ceiling. Black people give themselves ceilings, and they give the people around them ceilings. When people go around the natural box, this isn't anything besides fashion. People are gonna look at you and don't dare try to argue with this point. It's a fact. People are gonna look at you and say, hold up, why are you trying? Who are you to go out better?
People feel like when they know you and they've come up with you, it's like, okay, you're trying to do bigger things. Don't try to, go past where I think you can go because we grew up together, and it's a bad mentality to have. A lot of people are jealous of those who came up with them and ended up doing better than them. There's a saying that says, people want to see you do good, but never better than them. And I think that's such a problem in our community. There's a crabs in a barrel mentality where everybody is just pulling each other down just to get to the next level. And I don't think that's right at all.
And then let's tie into another point. It's all about the sign off. I remember Milano, a year or two ago, people was on Twitter and Instagram making fun of her. Oh, who you think you are charging $150 for t-shirts, right? They was looking at her brazy for that. Right. Yo, you got $150 t-shirts. Who you think you are? Your sweatpants set cost $500.
Did she know her price?
No, she never. No. You know what happened? You know the reason why her price? You know what happened? Everybody was coming for her neck. You know who stepped up? Every person that was the top influencer in Philly. Meek Mill stepped up. Deion Waiters stepped up. Kevin Hart stepped up. They made messages. They put out videos said, do not dare ask her to lower her prices. From that day forward, I have never seen another Milano Day Rules joke on Instagram or Twitter about her prices.
That's a good example of the branding I was talking about. If Meek Mill is signing off or it's campaigning for Milano, that's part of branding.
That's the same way Stella Jean could sell something for 3 times my price and it'd be the same material, the same stitching, the same everything. Somebody supported her.
Right.
Somebody supported her. If we had that same support for ourselves, it would be. And let me to go back to the point when you said, why have you guys been in an African hair braiding salon?
Yeah.
Have you been in a couple of barbers, like the hood barbers? But you do not, when you see hair all over the place is not done up, the place is not pretty, there's no branding.
I don't question
but you do not question the price. You go because you know the service is lit and you know you're never going to find it.
It makes no sense about branding. No, it starts with support. Let me give you a good example.
About your braiding, right? $180, so how much was it? Okay, 10. You're trying to compare braiding in Ghana and braiding in America. You're forgetting the rent, location. That's the kind of branding I'm talking about. If she has a store in Harlem,
there's no branding.
It's a store. Do you think about how much?
When I go to the African braiding store
in Harlem, do you know how much? You don't consider how much rent they pay.
No, but there's hair. That's exactly. You're not considering how much money she's paying as a business owner to get that fabric, to get all of that. But
you're comparing, though. You're comparing Kenya. You're comparing the hair braiding salon in Kenya and hair braiding salon in
different price points in different countries? Do you expect me to have different price points in different countries?
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm spending.
You can spend more money here than.
So when
Why?
China,
What
so
makes you think that?
So when
Because of
China,
rent.
no, okay, so when
Does
China,
Apple charge different
right,
prices
when
in
China go, when
Ghana
Apple,
than they do in
They
do.
do. Yeah,
Hold
an
on.
iPhone is more expensive in Kenya than it is
That's
here.
because of
Like
different, that's because
the
of service
tax.
and
Oh, yeah,
taxes.
tax.
When
Yeah,
Apple
yeah.
goes to China,
transportation.
when
So
Apple
why
goes to
would I
China
charge
and
less
spends,
abroad?
when Apple goes to China and spends $100 on the iPhone and then flips it
20.
for a 22,
It's
and they flip it for
$20.
$1,000, right? Do you question it? Well, where's the branding? Because they're literally telling you that it's cheap, and it's out there now. It's no, it's
not a
literally
secret.
out there. The manufacturing for iPhone
It's
is $100 or less, and they're
In
flipping
China,
it for.
right?
They make it in China for $100 or less, and they're flipping it to you for $1,000. They're literally telling you up front that they're zoning you. And you're not questioning. You know why? Because what you're confusing branding with is value. You don't see the value. I used to work at sales. The first thing I remember, my first time when I was doing sales, I used to get so nervous. Like I was working at Verizon, and like I used to come out, and Verizon, is typically the most expensive like phone service. And a couple years ago, it was even more expensive. And I remember like my first like big sale. Like I remember being so nervous trying to tell this lady that her monthly bill was gonna be like $450. My manager pulled me in the back, was like, yo, you don't ever think about other people's pockets when you're selling them something. Right. You sell people on the value, because when someone sees the value in anything, the price don't matter. At all. If it feels like it's gonna be beneficial, and at that point I took off in sales, and I still sell myself with every project that I do now, because it's about value. If you don't see it, if she sees her brand as what it is, then that's what it is.
Let's take Stella Jean, for example. White woman using African fabrics, using African designs, silhouettes, all of that. Her stuff are in Saks, selling for hundreds and thousands of dollars. Whereas je suis someone African using African materials, making everything by hand, someone would not be willing to pay for that. And I don't like. Milan is saying it's marketing, but it's not. Like, you just value her because of her status or who she is, and you're not evaluating me on the same level.
What Tsunami didn't understand when I said branding was, I didn't think when Louis Vuitton started, I didn't think their price sale was really, really high, because they started from somewhere. With Tsunami, she just started their brand. I'm pretty sure if Cardi B, Beyonce, all these top celebrities were to wear Je suis or Tsunami's product, definitely their prices would go high, and then people wouldn't come and be like, oh, okay, just, give me a discount. So I just it started from somewhere. So she shouldn't, compare Je suis designs and Louis Vuittons. That's like a very big comparison.
On the flip side to that though, and trying to get what Milan is saying, and what you said about if I feel like my value is this, then that's how it should be. But sometimes some people think higher of what they are. And I'm not just saying that to like diminish their value, but some people, they're not there yet. I will tell the truth. Some of you will have low quality in your design. You will take tag off one shirt and you will now paste it on H&M shirts, and you will call yourself a fashion designer. You are a fraud. FROAUD. You are a fraud, and I will not support your business. Stop copying and pasting and calling yourself a designer. It's not right. Some people, we've seen people on Instagram, for example, you could tell when they buy their followers. They have 20,000 followers and 10 likes. And they selling something and like, listen, I have this amount of followers, but it's just like, yo, you faking it till you make it. So and I think what you said was, what Shabazz said was very important. I think you kind of mixed up branding with value. I think sometimes we have to realize that with some black business owners, their quality is not there yet. And if your quality is not there, I'm sorry, I don't care. My mindset, I'm not supporting you just because you're a black business. I'm gonna support you.
Do you think
I'm gonna support you, hold on. I'm gonna support you because what you're doing has good quality. What you're doing is something of value. We as black people need to understand that just because you are a black business, I'm not obligated to support you just because you're black. You need to be professional. Your customer service has to be on point. Everything that you do as a business owner, it has to be calculated. That doesn't make sense.
Also, in Killer Mike, and that's what I was talking about too. It's like when those don't get it twisted. The Michael Kors, the Versace's, the Gucci's, they get stuff recalled too.
Of course.
They get stuff that happens and they get
And
angry
we still buy
customers.
from them.
But you know what the difference
give them
is?
a chance.
When those companies and those brands that we're okay with, when they have those stinks and they have those situations where, you know, the quality wasn't that good on that batch, people don't make a big deal about it.
They don't come.
We
They
forgive
don't
them real
cancel
quick.
them.
They don't make a big deal. But let a black-owned business, they make, oh, see, this is what I'm talking about.
This is
My
why I don't
homie,
support
oh, see,
black
this is why I don't
businesses.
support y'all.
But it's partially our fault too, Shabazz, because there's a lot of high-end brands that have said racially crazy things, and we still wear them. Tommy Hilfiger, Prada, Dolce & Gabbana. Those three brands just alone have done really crazy things racially, have said really like messed up things towards like specifically to black people, right? But we still wear Dolce & Gabbana. We still wear Prada. So why we don't cancel these high-end brands that don't want us to even wear their stuff? Tommy Hilfiger has said, I don't even like black people, but people still wear their stuff though. I'm not sure why we're still wearing brands or clothes from designers that have said like racist things. You know, for instance, I can use like Dolce & Gabbana as an example, Prada, Tommy Hilfiger. Like these are brands that have said things, not great things about black people, and yet people still spend thousands of dollars on Dolce & Gabbana slippers and belts, and like it's like there's so many options.
So are you saying that we should boycott them?
I do think that brands who don't want us to wear their stuff, brands who don't even like our skin, our color, we should boycott them.
Yeah,
Why
I
are we wearing
agree.
them? But at the same time, but Milan, you shaking your head no, right? Dolce & Gabbana, they don't like black people. You still gonna
hire black people, right?
it doesn't matter.
This is what brings division. This is what brings division.
No, that should tell you something right there. I'm gonna pay you. I'll pay you $10 an hour
To forget.
to not even. Yeah, I'll pay you, and you're gonna forget.
How many black businesses employ black people?
All the time. I'm a black person. I'm a black business. I only hire black people. My photographers are black. My videographers is black. My models are black. I hire black people.
But this is what brings division. Like, look at what happened. Okay,
But how is that division?
Look,
I'm
let
a
me
black
give you
business. I'm gonna hire my
a good
own.
example. Like what's happening in South Africa, right? What happening? The South Africans are saying they want to boycott Nigerian businesses, African businesses, and that resulted in lynching. So boycotting businesses or non-African,
You don't have
because
to.
they feel like what you call it, the Africans or Nigerians or Ghanaians are taking their businesses. They don't like they have the most businesses in South Africa. So they decided to boycott. And what happened? They started lynching Ghanaians, lynching
what's the
Nigerians.
correlation? But I'm trying to
we're
understand.
talking
What
about
I'm trying to
boycott
say
business
is
in America.
boycotting is something we shouldn't even think about. Because
Why?
at the end of the day, we all
If
want.
I say Dolce & Gabbana don't like
how-
black people, why are you wearing them if they don't like you?
But
Because
it's-
they hire black people?
They still
At the end of the day,
give black
somebody
people.
need a
Listen,
job.
they still give black people chance. They still hire black people.
How is that giving me a chance? How is paying me to iron your clothes giving me a chance in my future? How is that?
But you're getting money.
No, but you're putting me in
getting
a
money
type of
pocket, right?
dependency.
It
You're
makes a
not
lot of
investing.
sense.
No,
Because if
I'm not really sure what Milan means by employing black people means that you're not racist. You can put money in my pocket. You can use me. You can hire me to mop your floors and clean your toilets all you want. That doesn't mean that you're not racist. That means that you think it's okay to pay me less than someone else to do your job, to make your dreams come true.
For me, if someone is racist, let's say if I don't like, for example, if I don't like, white people, and I'm racist, and I'm having a company, I would definitely not want any white person at my job or in my company. I'll tell them, you know what? If I'm really racist, I don't want you to hire no white people. I don't want I don't want even white people around my company. So for them to even hire black people, that should tell you they're looking at the big picture. They're not looking at color. They're not looking at anything. It's just that sometimes we just like to think too deep. some of us like to think too deep. I don't think it has nothing to do with racism.
Don't think
Gabbana is
you're
like, we don't like
wildin'.
black people, we're not gonna hire black people. That makes sense. But if
No, it's not. No,
That's not
but
a
don't you,
correlation.
but one thing, don't you, Gabbana doesn't belong
That's
to one
business and
person though.
consumerism. That's
Do you know that?
don't
Do you know that certain companies are required to hire a certain
It's a
amount of?
diversity scorecard. You
Yeah.
have to have
You don't
a
think
certain
that?
amount of black.
No,
hold
your
on,
product,
hold
no,
on.
your product.
Hold on, no, repeat what you just said on the low
Right.
because I'm concerned now. What did you just say?
I said not.
You said that you didn't just made that up.
No,
You not-
I
feel like they
was
made
a
that
I was a
up.
literally, I was a
That-
manager. I was a manager at Abercrombie and Fitch, which is one of the most controversial.
And I used to work
Yes.
for
I work- I still
Okay,
work at
so
Abercrombie and
we
Fitch,
had a
so-
diversity scorecard. First of all, my entire staff was black. I got in trouble by my district
mean,
manager
thank
all
you?
the time because I only was supporting the black models and impactors
equal
because it had,
opportunity.
but like it was a minimum of maybe 20 to 25%. You had to hire black people. Mine was of course like 85%, but you have to hire that because they get sued every week.
For discrimination?
Literally for discrimination. Son, like Milan, you my boy, but like bro, you have to understand these big corporations, they don't want black people to, they barely want them to wear their clothes. They just want their money. They don't want to give them the jobs. There's a whole thing called a diversity scorecard. This is legal. Like I said, I used to work at Abercrombie and Fitch and I'll call them out any and every single time because they literally tried to brainwash me. I was an assistant manager and I was the hiring and firing manager, had 150 associates under me by myself. And they literally have boxes saying you have to hire this amount of people, this amount of black people, this amount of Hindu people, this amount of white people, this amount. And I literally always, like, I went above and beyond, of course, for the black people, but like, probably 98% of Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister's only have white people and they'll meet the minimum of black people.
I used to work at Abercrombie and Fitch, and I had to quit because the standard, like I understand the European standard, but they're black. Literally, in the employee book, I can't have my natural hair.
Cannot.
I can't wear cornrows.
Cannot.
I can't wear, literally, like,
And
this
that's
is
a part
me
of the
at
culture.
What I'm saying is
orientation.
boycotting is
So
not
why
the
would I?
solution.
We have to
Oh,
boycott
yes.
because money
We're talking
talks.
about
No,
what's happening in the
money
world now.
talks.
We-
The only way slavery stopped, guess what? It's because the people in the North were threatened by, there was a new form of making money, which was industrialization. Let's be about it. Money is what controls
That's
this
all you
world.
can have. So all we
And
do
if
is
we
talk.
want,
All
no,
we stop
if we
talking and
want,
then work
then
and
let's
support each
boycott.
other.
Don't
That's
let them
all.
feel the
All we do
pain.
All we do is
That-
talk.
that is
Let's
true.
just support each other and then work and then
That is all.
I need
that's
to
all.
understand something. So you say
Boycotting is not an option. Let's
think
just
it
work.
is.
Let's just support each
boycotting.
other.
The only reason
I
why
need
boycotting
him
is not
to
an
explain
option.
himself.
Hold on. The only reason why boycotting is not an option is because there's not enough black businesses.
Yes.
There's not
Right.
enough black gas stations, car washes for me to survive off of.
Yeah.
Period. We as black people cannot boycott all non-black businesses. Period. It's not even possible because there's not enough black businesses for us to survive on. There's not enough black-owned gas stations. There's not enough black-owned bodegas, black-owned car washes, like at all. So it's not possible to boycott all non-black businesses. We could try if we wanted to, but we wouldn't be able to do it.
I just want to address that the whole boycotting thing doesn't make sense. I think that's kind of a problematic mindset. I'm going to tell you why that's problematic. Because going back to, the civil rights era, and I'm going to bring it back to black people supporting businesses, boycotts are what integrated this country. Boycotts were the reason for, and I'm just saying in terms of us sitting in restaurants,
Together.
for us being able to get on the bus, for us being able to vote, simple things like boycotts. Now, when we bring it back to economy, the black dollar can be very powerful.
Yeah, not
If we,
can be, it is.
that's what I'm hold on, that's what I'm trying to say. Like
$1.33 trillion.
with us, the money in our community, it
don't
goes
stay.
around 6 hours, right? That's what Killer Mike
yeah,
said.
6 hours.
So my whole thing is with the whole boycotting thing, and you said, why would we boycott them if they employ black people? They have to do that. And it's not because, hey, I'm happy to have black people around, so that's why I'm gonna hire them. Like, no, we need to boycott businesses that don't respect us because our money matters. And if black
Exactly.
people decide, like it was
It
said in
has
the
to be a
beginning,
unified front though.
if black people decide, I'm not wearing that anymore.
It's a wrap.
It's done.
You're
Arrow
done.
pastel
Over.
used to be popping.
Over.
You're done.
If we use the black dollar in a very responsible way, we will have so much power in this country. We decide what's cool and what isn't cool. So if we decide that your brand is no longer beneficial to us as black people and we don't want to wear your brand anymore, that's it. You're done.
Also, like, you know, what you were talking about with the civil rights thing, that's why some people who are like, if you ask really pro-black people who really understand black economy and things like that,
Segregation was a
some of
bad
them,
thing for
right,
them.
some
Right.
people
It was
argue
bad
that
for them.
segregation was actually bad for black people, because the same
Our
way
economy
when
was
Killer Mike
booming.
was talking about that,
Right.
he said he tried to do that for 3 days. He was killing himself because he said he couldn't. It was hard to find like a black-owned bus company or gas station. He was
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
I rode my bike. He said I rode my bike for 3 days. He said my back is killing me. It's impossible because once segregation came in, there was no reason for a whole bunch of black people to own banks or gas stations or grocery stores. There was communities like, think about Black Wall Street, Oklahoma. The whole community,
They bombed that whole
the whole
place,
thing
bro.
was
Like,
black, and it was a threat because it was a way
crazy.
to pull money and a self-sufficient thing where the black dollar saw end to end. Boycotting, when you work there, it's like, okay, if I got my, if they were giving me money, but I wasn't putting it back in, eventually over time, if enough people did it, it would affect. So what I'm saying is, I think that we're at a point where you can't boycott everything. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
because of where we're at, you can't boycott everything, but there just needs to be a level of mutual respect for black businesses to be on the same front as those non-black businesses as well.
I have a question for everybody. I want you guys to name 5 non-white brands, and I want you to name 5 black-owned brands.
What kind of, like, in
Any-
what industry?
Wait, you said
I can name
non-white,
5.
non-white brands and black brands?
Wait, what?
So,
Name
Five,
five
name
black
five, name
brands.
5 white brands
Oh,
White
okay.
brands.
Okay.
that you know of.
Louis.
Let's start with
Nike.
Shabazz.
Louis, Gucci, Abercrombie & Fitch, Hollister, Aeropostale.
Gucci, Louis, Chanel, Abercrombie, and call it they I don't know.
Adidas.
All right, so now name some 5 black brands.
Fashion?
Coke.
I'll say Off-White.
Is Shea-
Is
Off-White.
Carol's daughter black?
How about Shea?
No, it was
Shea Moisture?
it's no longer black owned.
It ain't?
No,
That are
no,
currently,
no.
that
Take
are currently
away.
black-owned companies.
Hits
Je
lifestyle.
suis, feel me? Shameless plug.
No, all
For
the
the culture, shape, you know what I'm saying? Let the people
culture.
enjoy it.
You know what I mean?
Black owned business,
Shout out
Fenty
to my brothers
Beauty.
at Tier.
Crayon
She
case.
only owns 20%. It's
Fenty
not
Beauty
black
is
owned.
not-
Okay.
It's not black.
Milano is a black brand.
The majority
the
shareholding is not black, but
Let's do it one by
Rihanna,
one,
yeah.
though.
All right, so for the culture, Je suis, Let the Poor Enjoy, Demolier,
shameless plugs.
Milano.
Okay, hold on.
For African, for
Black brands.
the black brands. The ones I know is for the culture and just sweet, and then I would say Off-White.
No, now Off-White.
Off-White is, come on.
So you can only name 3.
I can only, because there's only 3 I know, because black band, I don't know.
Oh!
They're not,
And
they're not out there. What I'm saying,
internationally.
let me finish before someone thinks something. Black businesses are not out there yet. Especially the ones, I don't know
What
of
are you
any.
talking about?
I don't know any. I only know Je suis for the culture
'Cause
and
he a culture
Off-White.
vulture.
I
He
don't
don't
really
care.
know. What other
Okay,
black
so now
businesses?
name me 5 white brands.
Diesel, Nike,
You know what's
I would
funny?
say Louis Vuitton, Gucci.
I'm about to rub off this black. Look.
Bruh. That's the ones I know.
You know what's funny?
You can't force me to know anything that I don't know.
It's funny because
Don't look at me that
when you
way.
asked him what the black brands was, he only had 3. He was trying to hesitate. From the first time she asked the question, you had a different 5.
But you can look at me that way like I have to know. I don't know.
Okay, Jonathan.
So I mean, can we do like Revolt TV and like
Yeah.
so Revolt TV? I like, you know, I'm in entertainment. I don't really do fashion, so I don't know. Like I said, when I was younger, didn't have the money for all that. Now that I do have the money, I don't buy it. So I'm not really into clothes like that. But I know Revolt TV. You got, of course, Rockaware and Sean Combs. You got Arise TV. You got minaTV. You know, these are I feel like
plugs.
which really matters, you know what I mean? Us doing this right here, that's us supporting. So, yeah, entertainment.
What's her name that just made? She made like $1 million an hour with the crayons.
Crayon case.
Crayon case. Super Scent. Je suis, of course, for the culture. Shameless plugs. My brother's at Tier. That's a streetwear band. Tier. We also have Bonner collection, my man Henry Bonner. And that's 5 already, right?
Yeah, you've been.
Hello, I got the 5.
Here we
Hello.
go.
What about the white brand?
The white brands, Nike, Adidas, Polo.
It sound white too. It just sounds so white.
Prada.
Burberry.
Burberry, yeah. Baby shower shirts. With the baby shower shirts on.
I would say Bounce TV. Is Bounce owned? Bounce. That's a black-owned TV station. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say the Oprah magazine. I know she owns a lot of. She gotta own most of her stuff. Please, Lord, let's hope so. And let's say, okay, it's Crayon, the makeup, the Crayon case, and what else?
And what about the white
Father
brand?
stretch my bands.
You
need that
know,
jacket.
Marc Jacobs, Adidas, Nike. Yeah. So,
Black brands, I think it's HGC Apparel, Mael Organics, Main Choice. That's Courtney Adieli, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Crayon Case, and Beauty Bakery. The breast cancer survivor. Cashmere, that's an all-black brand. She started from
And then the
nothing.
white brands.
White brands, Jergens is a white brand, Dove. I just took a shower this morning.
That's how you know she clean. That's how you know she clean.
Right. I like that.
Come
I
on,
like
close up
that.
on the lotion.
Right.
But
Extra
yeah,
lotion
like Nike, Poland Springs, like, you know what I'm saying? Everything.
Real fresh. That's real fresh.
Black-owned brand, so I can never pronounce it, but it's BYFNE.
Be
The
Fine.
swim, Be Fine.
Yeah.
And then it used to be Olori Swim, but it's something else
Red Star
now.
Collection.
Yeah,
And it's out of business.
It's
now.
out of business too. I really
that was messy.
that was my spot. I loved her costumes anyway. And then there's Kobe, Moyo by Bibi, American Urban Radio Networks. Most of the ones I know, True Face by Grace. They're all, does it matter that they're not in the US, that they're in other
long
parts
as
of the
they're black.
country?
No,
All right,
yeah.
all right. So Moyo
look
by
like us, you
Bibi,
good.
Kobe, Hips Lifestyles. There is
What about the white brand?
the white brands, 90% of everything that we own.
She was like,
No, I didn't mean it like that. Okay. Target, Walmart. I'm so happy.
There we go.
Like, yes.
We need a Target.
I mean, pretty much like IKEA, like everything.
So like the whole point of that like experiment was to show you guys how easy it was to like name white brands, and then how you gotta really dig into your memory bank to name some black brands. So like to go back to the point, I definitely agree with you guys in terms of like I don't think we should boycott. But I also think we need to lift the black brands up.
Yes,
And
definitely.
I feel like that's just how it is. And I know that it takes work. I know that our customer service could be better. I know that we can have bigger staff. We can have bigger people, more people helping us grow these businesses. But as of today, we need to just support it and treat it as our own. Just like you saying we should take all the brands of our own. We need to take your brand as my brand.
See, and what? So it's an equal thing. Basically, what you're saying is an equal thing.
It
These
is. Like I
black
said,
businesses, because when I go to Ethiopian restaurants, especially in DC, and the way they treat us as native Ethiopians is so disrespectful compared to how they treat the white people that come in there. Okay, so that's the other. We have to.
I take
understand-
accountability.
Yeah.
I take accountability as a business
you know,
owner
and it hurts.
that
You
we
know, it
definitely
hurts
need
because
to
we
grow.
want to
but-
support. We want because we can go to any other restaurant where there's a Mexican in the back that's throwing the injera in the air and making it. You know what I mean? Listen, we will never, ever, ever get anywhere until we all respect each other and ourselves. The fact that I took my family when they came to visit me in DC while I was going to Howard, I took them to a special Ethiopian restaurant that everybody would always say, hey, you gotta go and try, you gotta go and try. And they had us waiting. First of all, I had a top show on EBS, which is an Ethiopian network that's aired out there. They didn't even know until they found out. When they found out, that's when they said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I try not to act out in front of my family, but of course I had to show my ass. I hate disrespect, and I hate it even more when it comes from your own people. So black business owners, you need to understand that we are coming to you to support you, and you need to give us the same respect.
I get what Milan is saying. Yes, we got to not leave them out, other brands. But in order for real change to happen and we to catch up, because we were, of course, in slavery, we got to do something drastic, all right? I'm not saying boycott, but if it ain't drastic, stuff ain't going to change. And we need to catch up. So we got to do something monumental. And if it means just for letting me 5 years, listen, buy black heavily, that's what we got to do in order for us to get where these other big brands are. Yeah. So, I don't know.
All right.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. See you next time.
Okay, yeah, money counts. You know, if you don't have money to, you know, compete, but there's other ways. You got to come from the jump, like, okay, we are of something. We have substance. We have value.
I feel like we don't have that same respect. We don't have that same camaraderie with each other because they want to see each other win. Black people, I'm not gonna lie, I don't see that.
Like most African companies or most African designers, they don't give you the exact price. Like, let's be real. Like the product can be $10 worth, and then maybe the profit they can profit of let's say 50. If they make the price $15, that's enough price. But Africans will tell you $25. So even if you tell them to discount it for you, they will still discount it, but they will still make their money.